Okay, okay. All right, I'm on a little bit early just to make sure that I am set up properly. As I've said a couple times before, I try not to look at the screen because there's a slight delay and so it throws me off. But I do want to come back to the chat if anybody has any questions or comments. And once we do get started, um, I wanted to mention, oh wait. Okay. Once I do get started, I wanted to let you know that a couple members of my team should be on. So Gia will be kind of manning the chat. She'll be there to answer any questions, to bring the conversation along if there's anything anybody wants to bring up for themselves. As I'm reading, I really want it to be interactive. If there's stories that come up for you, if there's moments where you relate or where you have an example of your own, please share that with all of us. I really believe in community and like sharing our wisdom, sharing our experience for the benefit of everyone. So Gia will be there to answer questions and be along for the ride during the chat. We also have Ira joining, and she is helping with the technical, the behind the scenes, the really the marketing piece of this, but also participating. So before we dive in, I don't even know. So when the ladies are here, I know they will just jump into the chat and introduce themselves. But I just wanted to begin by saying that this book, for those of you who don't really know what it's about, or, you've seen us sharing about it, you've maybe followed along for a while and you just thought, oh, I'll check this out. I wanted to let you know that this book to me was really a seed that I wanted to plant with people in a way to help them acknowledge their potential and their true inner strength. There's so many times through life that I have felt alone, that I have felt vulnerable, or I have felt broken. There are times that I felt something was wrong with me, or that I wasn't as good as others, or I wasn't enough. And through all of those different feelings and beliefs, I worked through them. I learned, I grew. Like there's something about just wisdom that you develop through life and through experience. But through all of those, I kept coming back to, I wish that I had somebody to reassure me that I was okay, that everything was going to be okay. And there's been a lot of young people in my world, in my environment, all around me. I have volunteered with my girls' schools. I've gotten a chance to know a lot of young people. And there is a lot going on right now that I think we don't even realize all the time when it comes to mental health, when it comes to dealing with those feelings of not enoughness or doing things wrong or what's wrong with me. And talking with some professionals in this field, just saying, is it common that you wouldn't notice that you would look at these people and think, oh, they're totally fine? And they said, the people I spoke to, so this is very specific to their experience. I'm not saying I'm speaking to all experiences or that I'm a professional in this field, but they said most cases, the people in those individuals' environment in their community do not know how bad they were struggling. So we're talking about people who've gone to the very worst end of this. And to me, I thought that was really sad. And I want to create more of a platform for us to be able to communicate and share. And I feel like I've gotten to the other end of it. And I want people to know it can get better. Okay. And even though I had this deep sense within myself that I am strong enough to overcome anything, with each hardship, it just deepened that belief. It made it even more obvious to me that I can do anything. I could get through anything. And so that's a message I just want all of you to know. Until it's challenged, until you're tested, you don't even know the depths of your strength, the depths of your resilience. And so when you do go there, as hard as it is, as challenging as it is, it's also a really, really incredible, magical gift when you realize I got through that. If I can overcome that, if I can survive that, I can survive anything. Okay. And that's different for each of us. But as someone who's been through their own challenges like that, I just want to share that message of hope with people who are looking for it because there's enough fear mongering out there. There's no need to add to that. So I want to add to the hope side, the faith side. All right. So, as was mentioned by my team when we communicated and shared and promoted about this live reading tonight, um, I am, my name is Kate Hansen, and I have started a company, Kate Hansen Co. And our mission and our vision is to help elevate other people, to help other people see their potential, see their wisdom, trust their intuition, make their own decisions, set objectives, goals, vision, and then not only set them, but also figure out the path forward to achieve that life, to become that person. And so that is the work that I do, whether it's through one-on-one coaching, through public speaking, through group coaching. This book was just one other outlet for me to try to share some of the tools that I've used that have helped me. But I believe we all have our own awareness of what we need and what to do next. So, yeah, this is sharing it from the place of I hope this helps you. I hope this serves you as well, or it sparks something in you to realize what you need. Um, so when I wrote this book, You're Strong Enough for This, it's a little blurry. So yeah, I think it's just because the filter I have on, there's a blurred background. You're strong enough for this. A real world guide to building resilience and becoming who you were meant to be. This cover I'm very, very proud of because maybe if I put my face away, this cover was designed by my uncle Pat. He's such a true and honest person that he wants you to know that the pieces were already there. He pulled them together. So he put these pieces of art together to create his own masterpiece. And honestly, it feels like there couldn't be anything more intimate to have a family member who knows you, who sees you, to pull together something this beautiful, this artistic, to really express the imagery of resilience and overcoming challenges with the mountains and with the waterfall. So I love it very much. Thank you again, Uncle Pat. So yeah, my first book, You're Strong Enough for This. As my team mentioned, tonight I'm going to read chapter 4. I'm going to go through that. At the end, we always have some reflection points, things for you to consider, think on for yourself. Take time with those. Honestly, if we could all just slow down, turn off all the noise so we could hear our own thoughts. That's what I want you to hear through this book is your own thoughts, your own opinions, your own perspectives. That's what I hope this triggers for you to do your reflections and figure out your own story. Okay? I'm going to dive right in. Chapter 4, Physical Resilience. Your body is your armor. A lot of us, I'm pointing a finger at myself right now, have been guilty of ignoring this glorious vessel that allows us to experience life. We take our bodies for granted. Regardless of your capabilities or limitations, most of us have a body that lets us experience the physical world and all its beauty. Movement, scents, tastes, emotion-provoking sounds, sights that bring tears to your eyes, and textures that ground you in the present moment. But here's the thing. When we define who we are by how much we can get done, how much we have, how much we give, who we were in the past, how little we need from others, we lose sight of the things that truly matter, like life or death matter. We push through busy, hectic, and thoughtless days, ignoring signals from our bodies. We power through physical, mental, and emotional pain, convincing ourselves we'll deal with it at some non-specific, perfect time that never seems to arrive. Or worse, we pretend that if we ignore it long enough, it doesn't exist. The price of ignoring my body. This was me for a long time. I wanted to work more hours, accomplish more, and amaze people with my ability to sacrifice everything else to be better than most people. I believe that was my value. It was how I overcompensated for the deep, hidden belief that I was average or even below average. Of course, I never acknowledged this out loud, but my body was keeping score. I suffered from chronic neck and back pain. I was gaining weight while barely eating during the day and then binge eating at night. I was emotionally numb because I made no time for relationships outside of work, except for the people who had a say in my career progression. I just want to stop there for a second and say, this isn't in the book, that I can so clearly remember a day when I was deep in this ignoring my body stage. And I remember talking to my sister. I have one sister. And I remember talking to my sister, and we have a lot of family that lives in another province. So quite a distance from where we live. And she was talking with some of our cousins online. I can't remember what it was about, something going on in one of their lives. And she knew what they were going through, or she knew what they were talking about. And I just said, well, how did you know? How did you know that she was going through that? She said, well, I message with them. We message each other. And the pang of jealousy and I can't even, the insecurity that I had no relationships. I had no tie to my family. I had no idea what was going on with them because I was so obsessed with working, that I went through this whole roller coaster of feelings. And that was part of one of my big red flags of something bigger is wrong here. Maggie didn't do anything wrong. That's my sister. My cousins didn't do anything wrong. I was just acknowledging that there was something missing that was really important to me and I needed to make a change. But I remember that day. I just remember that little conversation. It seems so insignificant, but it really had an impact on me that I had no clue what was going on with my family. And she was sending a couple messages and putting the effort in and knew what was going on. Yeah, so that was one of my signs. Okay. Um, After being told I likely wouldn't be able to have children, I convinced myself that my work was my baby, the reflection of my worth as a human. I never stopped to envision a life where I could be both successful and a mother. I would sit at my desk for hours upon hours, perfecting my work, not realizing I hadn't moved, eaten, or even taken a breath of fresh air. The foundation my parents built. Here's the thing, I was raised by parents who valued being active. They were living examples of what it looked like to keep movement in your life at all ages. Both loved sports growing up, and they kept fitness a family priority. Swimming, canoeing, biking, and walking all summer, skiing and hitting the gym in the winter, skating for some of them, less so for me. They didn't just tell us to play sports, they showed us by taking care of themselves, staying active, and making movement a natural part of their daily life. At different points in my teens and early adulthood, I caught glimpses of how good I felt when I prioritized movement. My confidence increased, my body felt lighter and energized and joyful. I felt free. It was like my body was grateful every time I moved with intention. The wake up call that changed everything. When I left my corporate career after having my second daughter, I briefly worked as a personal trainer, not because I wanted a career in fitness, but because I loved how good it felt to be strong and healthy. I wanted to help others experience that same feeling. I learned a ton, met incredible people, many of whom became lifelong friends, and realized that fitness wasn't my ultimate calling. But I also knew that experience was necessary for my journey. Fast forward a year or two, one day I was standing in a grocery store aisle, debating between pasta or rice, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor sobbing. I had no idea why. Through my tears, I called my mom. I could barely get the words out, but I managed to tell her where I was. As people walked around me or avoided the aisle entirely, understandably, My mom, lovingly but firmly, told me to pull myself together and to go straight to my doctor's office. I don't remember if she called the office or if I did, but when I arrived, my doctor, a tiny woman, at least 4 or 5 inches shorter than me, was waiting at the end of the hallway, arms outstretched, tissues in hand. She is one of the angels on my journey. That moment forced me to stop, reflect, and get brutally honest with myself. I had to stop ignoring the pain and the struggle. The turning point, listening to my body. I realized something that day. I am only as strong and resilient as I intentionally train myself to be. I will not take my body and health for granted again. From that moment on, I committed to honoring, respecting, and listening to my body, getting ahead of anything off before it became a crisis, healing not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. As I took better care of my body, I noticed something incredible. My mind and mental health started healing too. I started paying attention to the signs my body had been screaming at me for years. I learned that many of the health struggles I had throughout my life were actually undiagnosed ADHD symptoms. For years, I had compared myself to friends. Their focus, organization, grades, and emotional control seemed effortless. I, on the other hand, always felt like I was scattered, unfocused, constantly behind, and emotionally and highly emotional. This led to severe anxiety, a binge eating disorder, and waves of deep depression. But here's the game changer. I realized that being healthy and whole is my baseline. I am intelligent, capable, adaptable, and solution focused. I always was. The symptoms I experienced do not and never should have defined me or my potential. Your body is your armor. Treat it like one. This journey taught me something profound. My body is not an afterthought. It is your foundation, your armor, your powerhouse, your gift. You cannot push it aside and expect it to carry you through life without consequences. The more you respect, nourish, and move your body, the stronger you become, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. And trust me, your future self will thank you for it. Practical, sustainable, that was really important to me, sustainable self care routines that I actually stick to. I'm not sharing this as a physical health coach, but I've learned the hard way that taking care of my body directly impacts my energy, mood, and overall resilience. I used to push myself too hard, ignore my body's signals, and think self care was something I'd get to later. Spoiler, later never comes unless you make it a priority. Here are a few simple self care habits I found easy to implement and stick with, even when life gets chaotic. Okay, move a little every day. I'm not talking about intense workouts, unless that's your thing. A quick walk, some stretching, or even dancing around the house does wonders. Movement equals energy. This is not in the book. I just want to add this in. I remember hearing this once and it was like, dang, biggest excuse out the window. You're not low on energy. It's not like, oh, I don't have energy. You are energy. Your entire being is energy. You are the source of your energy. So we cannot say we're low on energy. It is us. We are the energy. So be more energy, create more energy. It is within you. It is not something outside of you. You are not a victim of it. You are the power controlling it. I hope that lands with you. It made a big impact with me. It took away a lot of the excuses and alibis I would have on days where I just felt like blah or I didn't want to put the effort in. I am the energy source. I decide whether I have energy or not. Okay. I use a timer on my phone that says move your body. And the alarm is currently set to a song Girl Like Me by Black Eyed Peas and Shakira. It's changed since the book was written, but I always have a special song that I like to play with my time chunking, my alarm that tells me to get up and move. And I try to put little notes to myself that make me laugh. So they're either like super aggressive or insulting, or I like a lot of sarcasm. I'm a big sarcasm girl. Um, or I'll just pick songs that just like immediately as soon as I hear them, I want to start dancing. So it does its job. The next one, hydration is underrated. I used to go hours without drinking water. Now I keep a bottle nearby and I sip throughout the day. If you look around me, I've got about 12 glasses, bottles, everything around me. It's the easiest way to boost your energy and clear brain fog. Never mind the fact that it's good for your skin and it helps with digestion. Like the benefits of just making sure you drink enough water throughout the day, too many to count. Get outside. Fresh air and sunlight instantly shift my mood. Every 5 minutes outside resets my energy. Doesn't take much. Very quickly, I feel regrounded. I feel centered, more present, more in the moment. Listen to your body. I no longer push through exhaustion, chronic pain, or stress like a badge of honor. Rest, good food, and deep breaths matter. It might feel awkward at first to take a break before a breakdown, but it's a game changer. Next one, sleep is non-negotiable. I used to think I could function on little sleep. Turns out I was just running on stress and caffeine. Prioritizing sleep changed everything. Making this intentional decision removed the guilt I felt when prioritizing rest. It was a guilt and shame that only I was putting on myself unnecessarily. Next one, take small intentional breaks. Even a 2-minute pause to breathe, stretch, or step away from the screen makes a difference. I again use a timer on my phone. I need this. If you're somebody who doesn't need the constant reminders, awesome. Just make sure you hold yourself to it. But the timers, when I get into obsessive focus mode, pop me out of it and remind me, get up, move around. I again use a timer on my phone with an alarm set to a fun song and a message that says something encouraging about smelling the roses. None of these require big lifestyle changes, just small, mindful shifts. And honestly, they make me feel stronger, clearer, and more capable of handling life's chaos. I'm in control and choosing the best way to care for myself. So when you're looking at these tips that I'm sharing with you, share 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 different tips. Okay. These are habits, self-care routines, whatever you want to call them, a couple self-care habits that I do. And you might think, oh God, they're so overstated. It's just everywhere you look. Breathe, breathe, meditate, get into the present moment, smell the roses, drink water. Like, yeah, they're said a lot. They really are. But then are you actually doing anything about it? And this is part of what I share with other people. The only way to prepare for impact, the only way to train your resilience muscle is by doing these things when it doesn't feel like the world is crashing on you. Because when you're in the habit of doing these things, then when life gets hard, it's going to be routine. You're already going to be doing things to help yourself, to calm yourself, to recenter yourself. You're doing it anyway. To try to start doing these things when you're in the middle of a life breakdown, it is a lot harder. It is a lot steeper of a mountain to climb. Okay. So by starting these little, almost effortless things now and doing them constantly where they are preset into your routine so that you are taking care of you, this is like a personal relationship. This is you dating you. This is doing those little things just because of how much you love yourself. When something happens, you are taken care of so you know you can handle it. This is getting ahead of it. This isn't assuming life will always be perfect, but this is taking advantage of when things are good and choosing things that make you feel even better. Okay, so I'm going to end with the reflection prompts. Your body is your armor. Treat it well. You'll thank yourself later. Reflection prompts from afterthought to asset. There's 4, okay? So first one, how can you proactively incorporate care for your body daily so that it becomes a built-in habit when life gets busy or stressful? Right away, I'm telling you, I thought start small, start manageable, start with something that you know you'll stick to. That was okay. Well, I'm going to have water as a priority. So I got myself a water bottle. I knew exactly how many ounces were in it so that I could kind of manage how much I was drinking throughout the day. When you know how much you're taking in, it's just good information for you. Then you have an idea of how much did I actually drink today. Okay? It's not that you're structuring yourself to death. It's not that you're trying to put yourself in a little box. That structure gives you freedom. Okay. So I incorporated water. I incorporated getting certain number of steps in because that forced me to move my body. I got into creating an evening routine. What do? Brush my teeth, wash my face, do my skincare, or do I brush my teeth, skincare, and then whatever? If you don't think about it, you're not intentional about it, there's going to be days you skip, especially if you're someone who's going through depression or who has gone through depression. The the stronger that habit or routine is, the more likely it is that you will stick with it even in that hard time. You want to make it easier for future you. Okay? Showering, making sure that you're showering regular. Whatever that is, I know people have hair routines. I only wash my hair twice a week or whatever that is. There's like a proven association between having a shower and depression and how people stop taking care of themselves. But if you make it a structured thing, is that these are the days I have my showers, or this is how often I have a shower or bath, or after I have this type of a workout or I exert myself to this level, I always have a bath or a shower. That will help you create the routine so that it's not based on how you feel. Okay. It's already being done. And again, as someone who went through it, having a shower can be a big, big difference when you're not loving yourself and not being good to yourself. So how can you proactively incorporate care for your body daily so that it becomes a built-in habit when life gets busy or stressful? Number 2, what helps you feel most energized and clear-headed? When are you most often treating your body like an afterthought? Is it Friday nights? Is it Saturday mornings? Is it during the week? You work all day, you're home late, you're on your phone scrolling, or you're Netflix binging, and so you're not sleeping, falling asleep around 1 or 2, and then you have to get up at 5 or 6 to get the whole thing started again. That is treating your body like an afterthought. It's not considering how your body has to function on little rest, without proper nutrition, without proper hydration. Like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage and then you're expecting the best results. Okay, that was number 3. I'm going to say it one more time just because I keep talking through it. Number 3, when are you most often treating your body like an afterthought? Last one, number 4. What's one realistic physical health shift you can make and stay consistent with this week? These are different for all of us based on our abilities, based on our age, based on our home life realities, where we live. So, this isn't to tell you how to live your life. It's asking you what you think is the best way to take care of yourself. What is the best way to do these things to take care of you? So, please take the time with these reflections. When you do slow down, it can make a world of difference. A world of difference. All right. And then the last thing I just wanted to say, I had somebody asking me recently, like, Kate, what is the point of this book? How can I want to read it or share it with people when I don't really know what it's about? Um, this is a book that is really a message to anyone who's experienced inflection points in their life. So I saw an incredible speaker. I mentioned this, I think, at the first or the second live reading. Um, the book is called On Fire. I need to have the book in front of me because I reference it so many times. John O'Leary, Jack O'Leary, John O'Leary. Oh, I have it right near me. Anyway, I saw him speak at a convention and he talked about inflection points. And it got me thinking about a whole bunch of things about inflection points in my life. And when I pulled out a piece of paper and I took the time, slowed down and took the time to do this reflection, I realized that three big inflection points in my life were um, one, as a young teenager, I was wrestling with my sister, and when I got up, my shirt was wet. And from that, we discovered that after a number of years without a diagnosis, that I had a brain tumor or growth. So it was non-cancerous. That wasn't necessarily told to me right away, but that was kind of one of the first inflection points where there was before that happened, and then there was the me after that happened. There was the faith I had in my body being healthy, the assumption that my body was healthy and would take care of me and do whatever I wanted, to something's wrong with my body and I can't trust it and I don't know it. Then the second inflection point was when I was in grade, I think it was 10 or 11 in Ontario. Actually, I'm sorry, it might be in, yeah, 10 or 11. Anyway, I had gone to a party with some friends and I had been assaulted. I went into, it was a bush party. We took a cab there. I did not ask any questions beforehand. And as soon as we walked into the forest, all the hair on my neck stood up. And I realized we had made a grave mistake. And when we walked through this opening of the forest, I was grabbed and pulled into the forest. And then they held my friends back. There was before that experience happened, and then there was after. There was who I believed I was and who I believed I was after that. As far as my worth, as far as my sense of safety, as far as my shame about my body. There were so many things of what I saw myself as, what I believed for myself before that experience, and what I believed after. And then the third experience was when I had my first child, my all these images I had in my head of what it meant to be a mother, especially after being told I wouldn't be able to have children. Um, from the time that she was 6 months old until she was 4 years old. She was very, very ill. I was going to the doctors, to the hospitals constantly. Her stomach became septic. Her skin went gray. She was losing her hair. And it was a simple blood test in the end of a million different tests discovering that she had celiac disease. But there was before that illness happened, and then there was after about who I thought I was as a mother, as a caretaker, as somebody who could protect my child, and just how to advocate for someone else who wasn't well when everybody else thought it was just in my head. And so those are important things, right? A lot of people can relate to those. When all of a sudden you get a diagnosis or something happens with your body and you feel like betrayed almost, you feel like you can't understand because you had this assumption that your body was always going to be healthy. Then there's also the people that I've met along the way who have experienced assault. Way too many women have shared with me their own assault or like sexual assault or verbal assault, physical, whatever it is that they experience throughout their life. And I know that there's also men who have gone through a lot of trauma when it comes to sort of assault type of behavior, where there is your sense of safety, your sense of what the world is about, what people are like, about goodness versus evil. And then there's after, right? A lot of people can relate to that. And then with regards to my child, there's a lot of people I've met who are caretakers, who are advocates, and they've realized what it takes to advocate for someone else, what it takes to really put your neck out there, to keep fighting when it feels like there's no winning at the end. These different times in my life challenged me, brought me to my knees. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't or it was messy. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't clean, but I grew from those experiences. I am wiser because of them. And I love myself more. I am more proud. I am more confident in myself because of what I've overcome. This is possible for everyone. We choose to define things. We can choose to define things about what we've been through or who we are. And we can choose to make them our strengths, our superpowers, or we can choose to make them our victim story, our hang up, the thing that kept us stuck. So when I wrote this book, it was to help those people who are going through that shift, who are going through that self-image flip, of this is who I used to be. Now things are changing, whether it's chosen change by you, whether it's something you're instigating, a breakup, a job change, big move, whatever it is, or whether it's the world, life happening, and it forces change on you and it forces inflection points on you. And there was you before and you after, but you're going through this time where it's like, I'm lost, I'm confused. Who am I? What matters? What value do I bring? There's so many questions that come to mind. And that's honestly the people that I work with. My clients are going through these transitions of who they used to be, who they're outgrowing, and who they want to be, and how they move in that direction. So, this book that I am so proud of publishing, this is available on Amazon. This is like a seed I want to plant in a million minds about what you're capable of, about your strength, about your potential, about your deservingness, your value, your worthiness. You have it in you. You have it in you. There's no reason why you can't make the change, make the shift. And if you're being forced through it, you're going to be okay. This is happening for you to become stronger, wiser, better off, even if it doesn't feel like it. And I'm always here to help you through those times. That is my calling. That is my mission in life. That is why I am here. So I hope you decide to get your hands on a copy of this. You're Strong Enough for This by Kate Hansen. It's this beautiful cover if you see it on Amazon. We have the link shared in our different social media platforms. But yeah, at any point, if you have any questions or if you're reading through this book and it brings up stories or realizations of how incredible you are, of how strong you are, please share that with us. Please, I would love to hear what you discover about yourself when you spend that quiet time to really hear your own voice and hear your own story. Um, okay, I'm gonna just go over to the screen for a second. I want to make sure I don't go over too long. Um, that's all the time that I have. I actually have some family here that I'm going to visit with for a bit, but you are loved, you are safe, even though everyone else right now doesn't know how hard you're struggling. They don't know about this secret or private struggle you have inside, wondering whether you can get through this. Consider this like a love note from me to you. I see you. I see you. I know that there's comfort in hiding it and keeping it to yourself, but it's time to talk to someone. It's time to make some decisions about what you're accepting, defaulting to, or compromising. And it's a time to choose better for yourself. It's a time to make changes and make your life better for you because you do deserve that. You don't need to suffer in silence. You don't need to wonder about yourself. If you got this, if you can get through this, if anybody cares or if anybody would notice, we do. We do. We're here for you. I work with people like this every day. All of my clients that I talk to, people would see them as massive successes. Oh my goodness, they're intimidating. They're so successful. They're so financially strong. Like all of these things, these perceptions that people have, and you'd have no idea of the struggles that they're going on within themselves. Because when it comes to health, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to a feeling of security, safety, wholeness, enoughness, it's invisible. So let's all just take a moment, be a little kinder to each other. Know that you don't see people's struggles. Just assume it. And let's just be there for each other. So that also goes if you know somebody's struggling, you know somebody's trying to figure out what to do next and they don't know how to best take care of themselves, get them this book. Get them this book. Hopefully, this would be a light for them, a reminder to them of how capable they are and how much you love them. And I'm always here. I'm always looking to work with people who want to make a difference, have an impact, live an aligned, abundant, ambitious life that feels good, that doesn't drain them, that makes them feel proud at the end of the day. All right, I definitely went way, way over what I was expecting to, but I'm so proud of this book and I'm so grateful for all of you. And for anybody watching this on the replay, please share your comments, share anything you have about your experience of being strong enough for this and how you noticed or how you realized or when you've had to tap into that strength for yourself. All right. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Keep the faith. I will see you soon.